Hey guys, good afternoon. It is Wednesday at 1:30 Pacific, so it's time to go live. Today's live, I'm going to keep it kind of short. One, because my past lives have been super long, and you probably don't have the attention span for that. And two, I'm in the middle of an amazing um, quarterly intensive workshop with my mentor for the day. So I'm on lunch break right now, and it just very conveniently matches up to our standard time that we meet. So today I wanted to talk to you about seeing possibility when you feel like you can't find any. Um, if you are alive, chances are there are things in your life that you would be open to being different, probably better in some way. It's perfectly normal to be discontent or dissatisfied with something, one or more aspects of your life. And a lot of times we can, I'll probably do this like in a separate video, but a lot of times we can kind of beat ourselves up for that, saying like, it's not, I should be grateful for what I have. I should be grateful for the life that I have. I'm really lucky to have these things. I shouldn't complain. A lot of people have it worse off in their life, and that's true, right? Well, there's always something, you could always be in a worse situation, right? You can always be in a more difficult circumstance. And yes, there's always going to be someone who's in a more difficult circumstance than you. But that doesn't mean that you can't be grateful for what you have and the kind of life that you're living now and want more, right? So it's in that wanting more that, and I'll leave that there for now. We can talk about deserving. We can talk about gratitude. We can talk about that sense of self-judgment or feeling guilty when we want something more. That's for another day. Today, I want to talk briefly with you about finding possibility when it feels like there is none. So a lot of times most of the time, we form our lives, including our career paths, our roles in our families, our relationships, our expectations around money, our money spending and investing habits. These are based on patterns that we've seen other people doing, right? So for the most part, we are very absorbative organisms. You can think of us like sponges, like we're really observing other people, key figures in our lives, people who play an important role, like family, parents, maybe teachers, role models. And we take a look at what they're doing and we take on those habits for better or for worse, right? And it might not even be conscious. We just kind of end up living in that way. So if you grew up with people saying money doesn't grow on trees, you might have some scarcity money habits. If you grew up with folks who would say things like everyone's out to get you or everyone's out to rip you off, you're probably having a more suspicious mindset around meeting strangers, right? So it's just a very natural thing that happens because we become conditioned to our environment and conditioned to what everyone else is espousing as being true. We forget that it's true for them. And we sometimes don't realize that it doesn't have to be true for them, and it certainly doesn't have to be true for us. So when you think of wanting something different for yourself, some aspect of your life, or maybe your whole life. I once had this lady who called me in like a total just tizzy, and she was like, I want a better life. Isn't that what life coaches do? Da, da, da. And and I was trying to get more information about the specifics because our lives are so comprehensive. You know, what part would you love to change? What would you love to see inside? She's like, a whole life. Isn't that what coaches? I was like, okay. So the first thing about recognizing the discontent that you're in is to really get specific. What exactly would you love to change? And what would you love it to be like instead? So maybe it's different job, maybe it's a better relationship, maybe it's a better relationship like with your kids or with coworkers or your partner. Maybe it's having a partner in the first place. A generalized discontent around, you know what, I know this life isn't for me and there's something else out there, but I don't know what it is. That's perfect, like fertile ground for you to start, if we go with a farming metaphor, sowing the seeds of possibility, right? So you can come to thinking of the question, what if? what if I had all the time in the world? What if I had a magic wand? What if I had all the money in the world? And this is a practice that you can start. It's essentially an exercise for your brain. It's an exercise for your brain to get used to playing in a space that is free of restriction, free of condition, right? Because we spend so much time, pretty much all of our waking hours, in a box, in a metaphorical box that is defined by expectations that we have set for ourselves and that we have absorbed along the way, of rules and what's deemed responsible or realistic. All of those things come together and form a little cube that we design our lives within the confines of, right? So when we allow our brains to stretch and we allow our imagination to get dusted off and really start to, get some breathing room in there, you can foster its versatility in this space by asking questions and getting curious, like, what if I had all the money in the world? What if I had all the time in the world? What if I knew how to do this? What if I knew this person? And it's simply allowing yourself to play in the what if space, because then your brain starts to get used to saying, what if things were different in my life? What if I had a richer relationship? What if I was less self-judgmental? What if I had more love in my life? All of those different kinds of questions. And then start in exercising that area of the brain and exercising that faculty that we have and that we all have a gift of, you're going to start to see different possibilities come to you. They might seem ridiculous, feel like they don't fit in that cube that we have all formed for ourselves. And that's okay, right? The best parts of our lives often come from outside of the cube, right? So think about what it would look like if you lived from a space of what if. And I'm not here to tell you, here's what your life could look like, because one, I don't know what your life currently is. And two, I don't know what brings you most alive. Playing in this space of possibility also allows you to tap into what brings me most alive. That helps circumvent some of these conditions that we've all grown up with. That helps you think about possibility from a more expansive place instead of, well, here's what could be possible for you in this area of your life based on certain conditions that an arbitrary we has decided is realistic and right for you, right? So it can push those away by you honing in on noticing, when do you feel most alive in your life over the course of your lifespan? Where have you felt most vibrant? Where you feel like, oh my gosh, you feel almost like an expansive physical feeling of expansiveness in your body. And you feel more alert, you feel more focused, you feel very engaged. Those circumstances, pay attention to what's happening in those circumstances as you reflect. Take a look at, what if things could be different? And what if, you can fill in that blank with anything you want. What if I could fly? What if I knew, I don't know, I don't know. The funniest thing just came into my head. I'm a Disney nerd. I was thinking, what if I knew the Sultan of Persia? I'm like, what? Thinking of Aladdin. Anyway, I don't know why that happened, but fill in with what if, complete sentence, literally anything, and allow your brain to play in that space. See what comes up. Maybe it's useful, maybe it's not, but the practice of it, the exercise of it is useful in and of itself, because it's like developing a muscle. It's developing your imagination, testing it off, because over the years we just become conditioned to not use it. So play in that space, and then also notice what brings you most alive. So remember, come back to the not crazier things have happened than you living life differently. Crazier things have happened than you changing that job, than you finding the perfect relationship, than you mending relationships with other people, than you earning more money. Crazier, much crazier things have happened in this world than those shifts that you desire. So I hope that's helpful. Let me know if you're getting stuck with anything related to possibility. Let me know what comes up and what kind of what if questions you're using for yourself. And I'll be back same time on Friday, because we go live every Wednesday and Friday at 1:30 Pacific. Have an amazing rest of your day. Talk soon.